Henry, this is Jen McCullough. We're from Dreamscape Media. Would like to take it away?
Yes. So we were founded in 2010. So we've been operational for about 12 years. We're independently owned and operated. We are an audiobook publisher and distributor, and we are committed to providing a diverse range of high-quality titles in the audio market. We make them available to listeners around the world, and have continued to really pursue content in a big way. I'm Lorna Henry. I'm an acquisitions director, which means I am constantly looking for new content to license into the audio markets. I started my career 12 years ago. Oh God. At a Penguin Random House. I started in audio, and I was licensing out audio rights there. And like many of you, or none of you, the traditional publishing route was somewhat of a big machine, and I felt like I would be better served in a smaller, independently owned and operated company that is more flexible. It's been really amazing to watch a trajectory of audio over the 12 years I've been in the industry, and I just think it went from something ancillary to the main form of people consuming content, and I think that's been a really fabulous journey to be a part of.
My name's Kassara Meek. I have been working with the distribution arm of Dreamscape Media on and off for the last 5 years, moving on to different projects in the interim as needed. Dreamscape Media is my first job in publishing. It's also my first job as an adult. So I think it's been really great to see this company grow. When I first started 5 years ago, it was 12 people. I could buy a box of dozen donuts, and that would suffice, and now I don't even mess around with buying donuts because it's too expensive. We've grown to about 40 people now, and I'm just really happy to talk about distribution and be here.
And I'm Jen McCullough. I'm a publishing specialist, and I have been at Dreamscape for 2.5 years. It is also my first job in publishing and my first big girl job. So,
They're just making me feel real old right now.
We're babies.
Just the disrespect that's happening on the stage.
So I work with both the audiobook, as they both do, and then I also work with eBook, which we'll talk about too. And I specifically work with the independent authors and publishers, which is really fun.
So, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but like we said, we are an audiobook publisher. So there's going to be a lot of information, so feel free to ask questions at the end. And we recently while I'm doing the acquisitions, we also recently launched a new division dedicated to working with indie authors and publishers. We have called this Dreamscape Select. It's a white glove distribution service that really caters to the author. There's many options in getting involved in that space, which Kassara will talk about later. And additionally, Dreamscape is also a partner for indie authors and publishers who want to distribute their content into the library market. Dreamscape was actually founded by Midwest Tape, who has been in the library market for over 40 years. And so we started as kind of their production arm into that space. But as we've grown, we have also taken in a huge platform in the retail market as well. So anyone interested in kind of wide distribution, we're definitely a company to speak to about that. So the growth of audiobooks, like I was saying, I've been doing this for 12 years, and it's been absolutely amazing to watch. Revenue in 2021 was $1.6 billion, like with a B. Like that is impressive. And that's a 28% increase from 2020. And we're still experiencing double-digit growth in the industry, and it's great to see listeners diversifying how they interact and how they discover content. And according to our APA audiobook survey, only 24% of audiobooks listened to in the past year were purchased with a credit, while 22% were purchased at retail price, and another 31% were borrowed from a library. So this is really a really cool breakdown of how wide distribution can really help your audio. Oh my gosh. So if you have any titles or title series that would work great in audio, but you haven't found the right publisher, we are here to help. We value our partnerships. We really do invest in authors, not just titles, and we treat every deal with care because we know how excited it is to get your content out there in different formats. audio licensing to me is just more than numbers on a page, a contract. It really is figuring out the best way to get your content into the ears of listeners. So Dreamscape by the numbers, just very simply, we distribute to over 100 audiobook platforms around the world. We have over 27,000 committed library branches in the US and Canada. We do about 8,000 audiobook titles. We have about 8,000 audiobook titles in our backlist, and we have 1,000 annual new releases. Amazingly and wonderfully, we have 12% sales growth year over year over 2021. And we've been nominated for several audio awards, which is, if you don't know, it's like the Grammys of audiobooks. You know, it's very exciting. And we've won, multiple awards for our narration, and we continue to, strive in that space. Our sales partners, I won't get too into this, but as you can see, we really do work with everywhere audiobooks are sold. We have no exclusive contracts. We are on sale day and date. We don't, there's no, kind of window releases or anything like that. So we have a really great relationship with Chirp. We're constantly getting deals with them. Audible, we've had a few daily deals in just the last month, which has been really great. Libro FM is my personal favorite. If you don't know what that is, I do suggest you looking into it. It's a wonderful indie platform. And as you may have heard, and as they're talking about right now, Spotify has launched their audiobook program as well. So we're really looking forward to kind of seeing what that landscape looks like in the next, year or so. Yes, and we have great partnerships. We have partnership deals with Marvel, Dungeons & Dragons, Highlights, Crooked Lane, Sourcebooks, Zando, among a few. They're some of the most respected brands in intellectual property. So, we care about the content that's being produced, but it's also the audiences, and we want to ensure that they're getting the best content possible. And narration. So the great part about signing on with Dreamscape for licensing, it means we pay an advance, and we also pay for all of the production costs, which includes narration. We work with some of the best narrators in the business. We really work hard to match our narrators with the titles. We're very invested in that. I think there's a lot to be said about the right narrator. There's also, statistics that show that listeners follow narrators, which is very fascinating, the same way they follow authors. So we do think that this is a very big part of what makes this kind of deal very special. Marketing and promotions. We have a dedicated sales team, a sales and marketing team that do all of our marketing. We love to cross-market, so we are very adamant about working with our authors to provide collateral and assets so that they can use in their newsletters, their social medias. We do giveaways. We have special promotion opportunities with Chirp and Apple. Hoopla, which we'll get into more later, is our sister company. It's a huge asset in the library market. We have 8 million registered users across the US and Canada, and we're now in Australia and New Zealand. I know words. And it's been really fabulous to see that kind of growth as well. And having that as our sister company is a really great way to market and promote that perhaps other, companies don't have. I just got very distracted. Woo! How to submit. Okay, so if you're interested in submitting your titles for the possibility of licensing, you can reach out to me. My name is Lorna Henry. My email is lhenry@dreamscapeab.com. In your email, just include your links to your content. If you have, any kind of Amazon pages or, your author website, a brief description of your content, and we will hopefully be in touch. Again, to be as transparent as possible, we offer an upfront advance against royalties. We ask for world English wherever possible, and we ask for an 8-year term. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Could you go back one slide?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, we can. Absolutely.
No. I also want to say that we do have some one-sheets up here that have our contact information on it, as well
Yeah.
as some summarizations about what we're talking about today. Is everyone done looking at Lorna?
I mean, you don't have to be, you know, we can do this all day.
Did you say AE country?
I'm sorry?
Did you say AE right at the end there?
Dreamscapeaudiobook.com.
Sorry.
It's okay, and there's collateral with our email addresses up here too, if you want to grab that.
Yes. My name is Kassara Meek. If you are not interested in licensing your content, I know that some independent authors would like to keep that production and that creative control over their content. We totally respect that. As we've grown, we've realized that more and more independent authors and even independent publishers are starting to go that route where they produce their own content with the partnerships that they've made with the narrators that they're talking to every day. We want to be able to support that any way that we can, which is why earlier this year we launched something called Dreamscape Select. This is our distribution program. So essentially the program, we wanted to be as nimble and flexible as possible. We will accept your content that you've already produced and we'll use our own distribution channels to send it out to as many platforms as possible. You will receive monthly payments. We're fully transparent with everything that we do. We're in constant communication with you, as much or as little as you want. You get an actual human contact, which I know some places, that's us. We are the humans you will be talking to. We have a very simple submission portal where you can send us your files, any notes you might have, all of the metadata, and that is all just sent through our channels to Audible, Overdrive, Hoopla, as many platforms as you can name, essentially. It's a one-year term with a 100% independently owned distributor, which I think is really cool. So why would you choose Dreamscape Select? I know there are quite a few distributors right now that are looking at independent authors. We want to support you. That is our main goal. We want to be fully transparent. We want to be nimble. We want to work with you, which is why we offer multiple models with this. So you're not stuck into one model. Your stuff is not exclusive to one platform. Thank you.
Words.
I'm waking up.
It's 8. I'm like, this is hard, guys. I don't know if you know this.
Yes. We offer incredibly bullish royalty rates, which I will show you guys in the next couple slides. And that's why we partner with Marvel and Zando and Capstone, Joff, a lot of these independent publishers, because we offer the flexibility that we want, but we also offer the numbers that they want to see. So we offer pricing support. We're going to price your content based on what we've done, the research that we've done per platform, per pricing model. We offer that assistance for you guys. So this is our full distribution package. We are offering 85/15. That's 85% of the royalties back to the author. One of the most bullish rates in the industry because we want to support you guys. We want you guys to continue doing what you do best, and that's content, that's writing. That is making people smile with the books that you release. We want to be able to get those books into the hands of as many people as possible. So we truly believe in wide distribution. Like I said, this is a one-year term. It auto-renews on a monthly basis. So after a year, if you hate us, just be like, I went out. And our little human people, we will do that for you because we want you guys to be happy. That's our biggest number one thing. As I said, monthly royalty statements, submission portal, we set you up. It's incredibly easy. We can get this done in a day if you want. Like I said, flexibility. Sometimes you want to keep the Audible relationship if you already have that. That's okay. We respect that. We understand it. So we are offering something distribution minus Audible. We'll send it wide everywhere else. You can keep the Audible relationship. We only asked we bring the royalties down a little bit to accommodate that. Candidly, people switch to the full pretty quickly once they go with this one. They trust us. We build that trust through this model. And we think it's just nice to offer a little bit more, but also we can work with you. It's very nimble. If you want to keep your own website and sell your content on your website, we can do that. That's fine. Again, this comes with all the goodies that full distribution does. You get the monthly statements, monthly payments. You also get the human contacts, and you get the nice submission portal. Oh my gosh. I turned it off, I'm sorry.
Well, how about talk about some of the authors, independent authors that we've worked with? We've worked with Pamela Kelly, we've worked with Marie Force, we've worked with
PJ Knock for. We've worked with.
I mean, the
We
roster.
have a very long list.
We have a very long list of indie authors that have done the Dreamscape Select model, so you would be in really good company as well.
Yes. We also offer marketing support. So Jen here, she is in charge of talking to the platforms, marketing the content, and ensuring that they're aware of the authors that we're getting into the program. So whenever we onboard a new author, she's talking to the platforms and our sales department, our marketing department, to try and get placement for that. It's incredibly advantageous that we're sister companies with Hoopla Digital because we can get placement into libraries, which honestly independent content does incredibly well in the library space. We get email newsletters, we get trip deals like Lorna was saying. So if anyone's interested, please reach out to me. My email's here, but also my email is on the nice one sheets that we have. You guys are free to take. It's kmeek@dreamscapeab.com. In your email, just please include links to your content, maybe a brief description, a little hi, hello, and what model you're interested in, and we can get you guys set up. And again, this is when you produce your own content. When you have the audiobooks with you, we'll take those. Yeah, it's
Oh, it is working. Okay. I was prepared to stand up. Okay. So, that was a perfect segue into this. So as she mentioned, we work really closely with Hoopla, and so that's kind of what I'll be speaking to as well. Again, we just really want to support the indie authors and help get your content into platforms, especially if you've decided to go wide with your content. So another option is if, right now you're not exactly sure about licensing or taking your audio titles wide with Dreamscape, we're also able to provide access into Hoopla specifically. So we're able to get you into the library market. So I'm kind of going to read off the slide because these numbers are pretty awesome. So public libraries annually spend about $1.5 billion with a B on content and materials, both physical and digital. More than 100 million people, or 61% of the US population, have library cards. In 2019, library patrons made $1.35 billion with a B total visits to the library versus $1.24 billion movie tickets. So they went to the library more than they went to the movies, which was really awesome. There are more public libraries in the U.S. than there are Starbucks. So
my favorite fun fact, guys.
Yes, she was determined that I had to make sure.
This needed to be on the slide. I'm just very happy that we're still, libraries are outnumbering Starbucks.
Yes, so those are some of the numbers. And so basically, libraries serve underrepresented and marginalized communities that otherwise may not have access to your content. So getting into the library space is another stream of revenue for you, but also brings a completely new audience to your content. You can go ahead and do that next one. So Hoopla specifically, this is a library platform, and it is leading in all-in-one digital library services. It has over 3,000 library systems across roughly 9,000 branches. So it was created by Midwest Tape, as we had mentioned earlier, and has 8 million patrons across 4 regions currently, so Canada, United States, Australia, New Zealand, and it continues to grow month over month, which is awesome to see. There's also over 1 million titles available through Hoopla, and this is, they offer both models, both the one copy, one user, which is the traditional brick and mortar, and then they also they have what's called pay per use, and that means that this content's available to patrons all the time. It's not like a library has to buy one copy. So if you would have anyone borrow your book, then you would get a payment from that versus just getting one payment per copy that they have to buy. So it again offers multiple streams of revenue in the 2 different formats to make sure all the libraries have the accessibility to get your content as well. So basically, the way that it works is that library card holders register to Hoopla, and they are able to search through the collection of titles. As we mentioned, we really work for getting visibility on the platform, so we work for getting inclusion in different collections. We also work for inclusion in different themes for different programs that they have, such as Bonus Borrows, which was mentioned on a slide. That is a program that they run on a quarterly basis. So we're able to get into those as well in order to bring as many eyes to your content as possible. Every time that they borrow it, again, it's charged a transaction fee that is shared by Hoopla and the publishers and authors. And then once it expires, it disappears from the user's account. So they get it for a certain amount of days, the same way that you would get your library book, and then it just gets returned. You want to go ahead and do it this way? So what we're able to do is we're able to offer a white glove service that allows independent authors to deliver their titles to Hoopla Digital. So we're a way for you to get in there directly without having to go through any hoops. So you're able to just have us communicate directly with Hoopla. And it allows us to have the operational support. So again, you'll have a human. You'll have me to talk to at any time if there's any issue, if you'd like to update your book, if, again, you decide you don't like us and you would like to pull your book down, you'd have someone to talk to versus an automated process. And I'm going to do the next one. So we love our authors. We work with authors like Elle Kennedy, Rachel Amphlett, Pamela Kelly again, and CJ Archer. We've seen a lot of success on the Hoopla platform. Elle Kennedy and Pamela Kelly have both landed in the top 5 for all romance titles on Hoopla in the audiobook format. Some of the best-selling authors, they actually are able to work with us in multiple ways. So we have Samantha Chase, Natalie Borelli, Natasha Madison, and Marilyn Kelly. Those authors both work with licensing or distribution, and then they also bring their ebooks to us through this program. So they're able to get both formats on, and it gives, again, a lot of flexibility in what deal works best for you. And so we're able to work with them. And then we actually have Rachel Amphlett, who let us know that she's been working with Dreamscape to access Hoopla since 2020, and libraries is a huge part of her overall publishing strategy. So again, this is just an additional stream of revenue for you, and it just helps bring it to more of an audience without taking away from the audience you currently have. And that kind of leads into this. So it is awesome to go wide because, again, it's allowing you to get to as many readers as possible. The goal is that you'd love to have as many readers as possible read your content, so we help you do that. And so we have the same kind of a portal that we were talking about with Select. So if you decide you'd like to bring ebooks, we have a portal that is set up and has directions for every step of the way. And if you'd like to submit, then you can go ahead and email me. And again, just the link to your content and a brief description of your content, and we can get the ball rolling on that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for questions, we have this nice microphone set up. We're at the...
So just in closing, I think the things that we should take away is wider the better. I think that is the way to go. We are independently owned and operated. We are as indie as you are. We are not a traditional publisher. While we do licensing and distribution, we really do work with you, and we're not trying to, make anyone, overly nervous about, their IP. We really do respect it in many ways. And we want to make sure that you're comfortable with whatever we are doing. So again, licensing, distribution, ebooks, assets are up there if you want our email addresses, and we are now open for questions. There is a microphone, thank you.
Okay, so Hoopla isn't for audiobooks. That's
Yes, it
just,
is.
It is. So if you would like to bring your audiobooks as well to just Hoopla, maybe you're not currently interested in the other 2 options, we can do that as well.
Okay, so if we go through you for wide distribution, you're including Hoopla?
Yes,
in that?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's like if you're very scared, you go to Jen.
Yes.
And Jen will help you just get on Hoopla so you can kind of test the waters. If you're more like, you know what, I'm ready to go wide, you go to Kassara. If you already have your content published. If you have not had your content published in audio yet, you go to me, because I'm going to make you really happy, I promise.
And then one more note to just add to that is that if you decide you'd like to go with just the Hoopla option first, maybe you'd like to, again, test the waters on that, because we already have the content for the audio format. If you decide to distribute with us, you would not have to resubmit it if you decided at some point to go with our white distribution, because we already have the content within that portal. So we would be able to switch that over for you really easily.
2 questions. First of all, with the talk about going wide, if you already have your ebook and everything published, and you're in Select, and you can't go wide because of the exclusivity, how does that interact with the audiobook stuff? Can audiobooks still go wide even though?
Yep, even if you're KU, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the other thing is, in addition to distributing through Hoopla and listing it on your site, when you do like the whole 8-year term and all that and do a full audiobook, what do you guys do as far as advertising and marketing to get it in front of people, or is that mainly up to the author?
No. So definitely we have our own marketing and sales team. So if you were to trust us to license your content, we do, we pay for all the production, we do all that, and we also do all of our marketing and sales in-house. So we have dedicated teams that will work with all of the platforms for, promotion pricing and all that kind of stuff. We provide assets. So we do like to work with the authors. So if they have a big social media following or a newsletter, we provide assets as well, and we kind of work together to see like how do we get it, how do we get it in the, market it as much as possible. But no, that would be up to us, and as much as the author wants to do or not do is, completely up to them.
Yes, absolutely. Same thing with Select. We would offer you audiograms, any social media assets that you would like. We participate in sales all the time. We participate in editorial pushes for as long as the content is distributed with us.
Any other questions? No? Maybe? Okay. I know there's like no one in the room. I'm like, why are we making me go to the microphone? Just shout at me. I mean, it's totally fine.
It's for the benefit of the folks at home, so I want them to be able to hear me. So you have audio producers, so you have narrators. So I came here partly for a friend of mine who has been independently narrating, and she wanted me to ask, how do you find narrators, a company like yours?
They find us.
I mean, yeah, so a lot of times they're SAG registered, and they've been in the business for a while, but our production team does a lot of outreach. They go to, like, our APA is like our Audio Publishing Association, and they have like mixers and things like that. So I do suggest your friend sign up for APA newsletters and things so that she can, or he,
She.
or they.
Yes, she.
Who am I to judge? They can, do that, so they can figure out a way in which to, kind of get their name out there more. We also have a portal, a narrator portal that's available for Dreamscape, so if she wanted to email us, we could hook her up with that, and they could put, their assets up there, their, auditions and whatnot. And then what's really cool about that portal is that narrators get to bid on content. So if they saw a book they liked, they can bid on it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'll ask them that.
Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I first started, I had no idea that I had options. And so all of my stuff is exclusive through Audible, but I paid outright for them. So I was told recently, the other day, by somebody, that I can request to have those released.
Yep.
Yep.
And so once I get those rights back to me and out of that contract, I can go
Yes,
and bring
wherever
them
you
to
want.
Wherever you want, preferably Dreamscape.
Here. Anywhere you want, here.
Yeah, within this, yes. Any other questions? No?
Do you have any like case study examples or anything that you can offer, like for someone maybe who had never done audio before, an author that you then worked with, and what that maybe did to help increase their readership? Just any case studies or examples.
Are you familiar with Kirsten Modglin?
Kirsten Mulligan is one of
our authors. She's a best-selling author, especially in audio. She does thrillers. She was on the panel yesterday for like the highly successful Badass Women panel. Yes. So we started doing her audio. We licensed it, and if you run into her, she will sing our praises. She better, right? She will sing our
She's not
praises.
coached.
Okay.
She's
not
not
coached. We didn't give her any. Yeah, we didn't give her any. Yes. So that licensing definitely, I would say Kristen Modglin and oh my goodness, what's her
Do
name?
you want me to talk about Lisa Jewell?
No, Natalie Borelli.
Natalie Borelli.
So Natalie Borelli never had a U.S. publisher at all. She was only published in Australia. We picked up her content to do in audio only in the U.S. and now she has a U.S. Contracted deal for her actual ebooks in print. So even just getting the audio over here into the States made a huge difference for her career. So sometimes, taking those kinds of risks is like what makes, I think, Dreamscape so special, is that we're constantly invested in just good content, right? Wherever it comes from, we want good content, and we.
We also worked with Lisa Jewell. We picked up her books quite a few years ago. Then she was gone, became a smash hit immediately. And it hit if I'm not mistaken, it hit the New York Times bestseller for audio before it did paperback or hardcover. Mm-hmm. And the audio version stayed on the bestsellers list longer than she was gone for hardcover and paperback. We truly think that the audio version is what catapulted that success for that novel because it was impeccably narrated.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of case studies to say that the audio trajectory can really help bolster sales, future sales in series and with authors. Audiobooks aren't ancillary anymore. They really are a main focus. Some of our audiobooks track much better than authors' ebooks or authors' print books. So there is such a huge audience there that I think a lot of indie authors really should take advantage of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, now we're cooking.
Y'all had mentioned with the select version, with Audible, it's 85% royalties to the author and 15% to y'all, and without Audible, it's 70%. For the original one, so if y'all produce the audiobook, I know you said you keep the rights for 8 years, and I'm assuming that's to recoup your cost for,
Yes.
producing it, which I know is expensive. Well, how will the royalties break down with that?
So the royalties are, so that's a very different model. So the royalties there's 10% net hard goods, 25% net digital. And then once your advance earns out, you start earning money against those royalties. So those are industry standard royalties. There is always room for negotiation. I am not an absolutely no kind of person. So that's just, kind of our starting point.
Okay, so after essentially the advance is earned out, how would those royalties work out?
Right, so you'd get 25% net at whatever sales are coming in.
Okay.
What is your breakdown by genres? I would assume that it's almost heavy on novels or fiction,
Yeah.
but do you do much nonfiction and children's books and, that type of thing?
This? Like, how dare us?
So-
We do publish across all genres and age ranges. Right now, I would say probably we're predominantly publishing mystery thrillers and romance. But we do a lot of nonfiction, and also we actually have a really amazing kids program where we do audiobooks for children's picture books, but we also do something called iconographic video, which is, light animation read-alongs that are really great for the library market. So yeah, we kind of do it all.
Yeah. So if you're children's nonfiction, we've really found nonfiction does well for us on certain platforms. So we've been researching how best to merchandise those and market them. So we really don't say no to any genre.
Awesome. Those are the two I'm interested in.
Oh, perfect. Hi.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I came in a little bit late. I talked to you yesterday, which was wonderful. Couple quick questions. So what is the timing? Like, maybe you talked about this, but the timing, if I said, let's go, let's start today. So talk to me a little bit about the steps and the timing and when deliverables might actually happen. How soon does that happen?
Are you talking like a licensing deal, or are you talking distribution?
I'm talking about, like, if you did the starting with record, you guys are going to record the
We would do
audio.
the recording. Okay.
You record the audio, and then you're going to go ahead, do the licensing and distribution.
Yes, I do. I have your card. Yes, hi.
That's okay, yeah.
So a timeline is usually you submit, I say yes, we negotiate. If that all goes quickly, it's usually 90 days from receivables. So we can put out an audiobook within 90 days after receiving your finished manuscript. Obviously, this is if we're all, like you like the narrator, everything is like smooth sailing. Yeah, we can get it all out in 90 days. And then, we'll set the on-sale date. You'll know the on-sale date. We'll be able to work together to kind of, announce and things like that. You'll know who the narrator is. We like to match the authors and narrators together too, to have like chats and like kind of cross-promote there too. So we kind of want to make sure it's like a community as opposed to just like us, out in the ether.
Yeah, absolutely, that makes sense. I'm not sure who asked the earlier question, but I really liked it, a case study. So for authors liking to read, most of us, and or visual, if you have on a website or anywhere else, like the example of somebody who's done this successfully with you and maybe even licensed with you, went the whole way with you, and you talk step by step and you actually describe the story of how to come, what happens, all the conversations, like, here's what you're going to expect the first 6 months. And then it's a real picture story for people, especially people like me who are more new to the field of doing that. I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
So just a thought.
Yeah,
Thank you. Absolutely.
absolutely.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to call Kristen Waldron. She's gonna have to do a whole YouTube for us or something.
And then really quick, just before your question, I just wanted to, in case anyone was curious about the timeline for the distribution side too, because it is vastly different. If you decide you'd like to work with us on the distribution side, it is usually you talk to Kassara if you're talking about going wide with your audio, and then once the contract's signed, I immediately send you all the information about the portal, and you're able to upload as fast as you'd like. If you upload it that day, we can get it into our delivery batch after it's been QC'd by our team, and it typically takes 4 to 5 weeks from the moment we receive it, and that is only because that's when it will be to every single platform. We see a lot of the backlists, maybe if we don't have if it's not a front list title and it's already been released and you're bringing it over, we're able to get it up as soon as possible. So we'll see it pop up on other sites rather quickly, but we just give that 4 to 5 weeks so you can anticipate when to see it everywhere.
Lorna, can you share a little bit more about your vetting process when someone submits to you, like what you look for when you go out and you start investigating them, and like what would make you go, yes, I must have this?
Sure. I mean, for me, obviously, like, if you're a brand new debut author, it's really hard to have any kind of like statistics and things like that. But if you have, a strong following on social media, if you do have a couple of books under your belt, if you have a series, that has been performing well in eBook, things like that. So it really is like, those are the great things, but if your content is good, which is so subjective, but if we enjoy it and we're like, yes, this like makes us feel something, whether it's romance or mystery or nonfiction, it's just like, for us, it's very much trying to get as many voices out into the world as possible. I'm coming from a traditional publishing background where they spent a lot of the industry spends at gatekeeping, and I have felt that has been a real issue with that kind of, that kind of part of the industry. So working somewhere at Dreamscape, we're nimble, we're always ready to kind of take a chance on something new. Right now, we're really like invested in, lit RPG, which I never thought I would understand anything about this. And then I sat in with the son of the man who created Dungeons and Dragons, and I was like, this is my favorite day. So I think there's just like so much content out there that is just going to perform so well in audio, but I just think it really comes down to, if the author's invested, we're invested.
Yes, we've done debut authors, we've done so many independent authors. It's very important to us to diversify the content that we offer to platforms and listeners. So it really is the whole package. We have to have a full understanding of that.
And I will say, I know we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but cover art, it's unfortunately very important. I think there's Jean Malika's here. Oh, go talk to them. Amazing. They do amazing cover art. But that is, we want, the package is,
Yes.
Is definitely important.
Package includes cover.
Yes, and we also have a design team too, so if
Correct.
there was something we wanted to work with, we could, help with that kind of original design as well.
If we license your content, we take care of the art. We make that square art that you always see on Audible. That's something that our team will take care of. So it's truly full service.
Okay. I have one more question. And that is about if you're with an indie press, or even if it's a larger indie press, and you as an author are interested in submitting your work, how does that affect how we go about that process of submission?
Okay, so it would depend on whether or not your publisher has the audio rights or whether you've held on to the audio rights. So if you personally have held on to the audio rights, you can submit to me and that will not affect anything at all. If your if your print or ebook publisher held on to the audio rights, you can say, hi, go submit to Lorna Henry at Dreamscape, and they should be able to do that. We work with many indie presses. We don't just work with indie authors, we work with like everyone from, the Penguin Random House, to, Bookouture, Jaffe, like indie, we love indie presses. So yeah, that's something you can definitely just say, hey, listen, if you haven't tried this avenue yet for my audio, can you, submit it,
Great.
to these places.
Thank
or an
you.
agent too.
Yeah, or if you have an agent who has the audio, you can also talk to the agent about that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, no more questions?
We'll be here. If you want to ask individual questions based on what you're interested in, we'll be here for the entirety. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. I know it was early.
Thank you for making it up so early.
Yes.
I think I transcend it. Like, I don't even know, like.
Lorna's a morning person now.
Yeah.
But yes, feel free. We do have the collateral up here, the one sheets that kind of summarize what we presented.
There's, each one is different. One's for select and one's for licensing.
Yes.
So if you want, you know, you can take
We're
one.
happy to talk.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good.
Oh.
Okay, so Hoopla will do ebooks as well, but do you also do ebooks, or are y'all strictly?
We only send ebooks to Hoopla.
Yeah. It's just because we have such a close relationship with them that we're able to do that as well. We definitely are way more informed on the audio side, so we just wouldn't want to do a disservice by bringing the ebook. It's a completely separate market, so we didn't want to. For now, we're
Thank
not
you.
So to submit to y'all, if it hasn't been
Yeah,
separate
he was gonna
published,
write,
like it's
there's
just
a
like a
fourth book, and then
manuscript, like,
Craig is writing the
I
fifth
guess
and
how
sixth,
refined,
right?
I mean, obviously you want to cover up too, but like how refined do you want the manuscript to be? Like, does it need to be like officially published on a site or?
For which?
For
It would need to be, for licensing?
That I can,
No, you can submit the manuscript.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't have
that'd
to
be
be the
great.
finished product yet.
Yeah.
That's been the
And
debate
then
I've
that way,
had. Do I submit to an indie publisher or do I just try? Because I run a business.
transferring
during
over
day,
the and
do a
doing
day
the rest. So
job,
I
it's-
believe my colleague was the one who
so many hours
licensed
a
it
day.
Right.
originally.
I mean, I know I can learn how to do everything.
But let me just
No,
get
we get
your
it.
email
Also, I can do both
address,
at the same time,
and
too, so
then
you know, like-
I will email you right away,
Yeah.
just to let you know that, like, we're working on it.
Okay, so
Probably the one he wanted.
essentially if I want to
I just
submit
happened to come.
manuscript
Yeah, I
to
just
get
wanna
It
make,
was a non-likely,
because
get published,
because
so
I
you
wanna
just
make sure
it
you're
as
getting
clean
the
as
royalty
possible.
statement.
Do I-
and all
We
that.
don't do any editing. We don't do any proofreading.
Yeah, I mean, like, in
unfortunately.
terms
Or
of
is it
like,
gonna- it's going to
I know y'all
Craig
did it,
now?
but like, in terms of like, y'all
It should go to you.
like,
Okay, then I want
Oh,
your contact
absolutely.
information to make sure I'm sending you that.
I mean, it needs to be like grammatically.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, my first
Done.
English,
Yes.
I have a
Yes.
Chinese English professor,
If we
but
can do the rest
my
of
wife
it.
I mean, I edited, my wife edited, and I have an English professor
Yeah.
editing it now, so.
Perfect.
To the ones that already were licensed.
Probably
I got you.
another-
Okay.
probably
Okay.
another round of stuff too.
No, that's fine. We accept, I mean, we purchase content based on unfinished manuscripts all the time. That's
When it was-
most of
when
what
it
we're
was-
getting from the big
yeah.
five is the pre-edited content. So
course.
long
Oh
as
my
we have
gosh,
like the
yes,
general
please. I would love your
idea
contact
of what
information so we
you're
can make sure you're
writing.